Save for this little spark, well, appropriate for what I'm going to be talking about in this, that I'm about to light so I can have a smoke. This video is predominantly going to be dark, so not too much to worry about. It's more just something to talk about. I know we're all going through it right now. I know a lot of us are tired. I know a lot of us are drained and agitated, and a lot of the, a lot of the times, the day to day just doesn't feel worth really anything. For the majority of us, it feels, like we live our lives perpetually on Groundhog Day, just seeing the state of things getting perpetually worse. And, you know, I'm gonna preface this. I'm not gonna downward spiral on this video. In fact, the reason why I'm making this is just something I've been really feeling in general. Um, Something that I just want to bring out in people, and I want to be upfront about it. I know, and I realize, and I think a lot of people are realizing too, the world's a fucked up place. But the world's always been fucked up, and we know this. We've been told our entire lives that life is not going to be an easy game. And the world has, in a lot of ways, just made us comfortable and complacent. It keeps pushing to, give this illusion of security that isn't really there. And we all know that a patchwork of feeling like there's a stable situation in the world, it's falling away. And that's why most people feel this, gnawing sense of depression in them. The reality is that heavy sensation and that feeling of just knowing that what we hope for, you know, in this life and in this world probably isn't going to be what we expected, but we were always kind of told and we knew. Um, Life is just this game of give and take, and it never really pans out the way that we quite expect it to. Now, this is what I want to raise in people. Everybody's aware of this right now. Everybody's feeling this in some formality or another. You feel like giving up and feeling like quitting. And for a long period of time, I've lived half my life resisting the need to give up and quit. And lately, I found, buried under these layers of depression and fear and anxiety and anger and just shame for the lack of what I could really do about my situation. Below that and beneath that, it's just this knowing that I did everything that I could. I did everything that I could, and I still made happen what was, a potential and what I was capable of. And for that, I'm grateful. Beneath everything that I feel, I'm just glad that I got to do what I got to do. And there's this steady resolve that's been building in me. It's this realization that even though my life took a path and direction that I didn't, you know, expect it to, um, I I put myself through more than I had to, and at the end of it, I'm glad that I did. You know, More than anything, I proved to myself, and I proved to a lot of people around me that I was capable of more than what people took me to be capable of. Whether or not they gave a fuck. The reality is, I did it because I didn't give a fuck. You know, I got tired of people trying to tell me and put me in a box and keep me like under the mainframe of, the ideals that they try to cast on me. I got so sick and tired of this world just telling me what to be and what to do. I didn't want a conventional life. I I wanted to live, and so I lived because it was a part of me that knew for everything that I'd been put through. Um, a lot of it wasn't deserved. A lot of it, quite frankly, you know, was extreme to a degree that I don't think was rational in a lot of ways. And I endured it, and I just went with what opportunities life presented me. And I made the most out of a lot of really shitty situations. And I realized, like, more than anything, I've been adaptable and had a capacity to survive things that I didn't think I would. And that's been really growing past the nagging and the gnawing of, like, wanting to care really where this world is going. I'm gonna be quite honest and out in the open. I'm tired of giving a fuck. I'm tired of giving a fuck about hearing and listening to all the disparaging shit happening in the world. I'm tired of giving a fuck about hearing, you know, other people just voicing the same relation to the world that I already know we all feel. I'm tired of giving a fuck when other people continuously just give up on themselves and everything, like on a daily and a regular. Because I've been tired of, like, fucking, everybody trying to drag me back into that, like, sensation of giving up on myself. I'm so fucking tired of how this world tries to just crab bucket everyone and everything into, like, just a straight oblivion. We are all faced with this seeming immeasurable span of time where the odds are stacked against us, and we call that entire process, our life. And it is nothing but challenges, and it is nothing but struggles. And, you know, every generation that has came before us in a lot of ways has resolved and found a way to, like, make it through and make the most out of what bare necessities and circumstances they were presented with, and they still lived full lives, regardless of the length of time that they had. The events and the things that have transpired on this planet to lead us up to this point in history, through all the resolve and all the little things that people did. Is the world complex and more convoluted than it needs to be? Fuck yeah, it is. Is there still a simple framework and way to go about life that exists and is permeated throughout history that all of mankind has basically followed the framework of, like, naturally? As, like, time progresses, things just get better because people find the courage and the tenacity to just endure the hard circumstances and make the most out of life. Always seems to work out that way. You know? I'm tired of life continuously and constantly and all the circumstances around life telling me to quit and give up because, there was a point in time where I wanted to quit and give up on myself, and I decided not to because I feared the circumstance of just living a life that was totally fucking miserable and ending it early and not seeing what could potentially make it better. And I'm glad that I didn't. I decided to stick around and I decided to make it a better thing regardless of, like, what was going on in my life. And I've had shitty moments. I've gone through really, really shitty things. And there are people in this world who have gone through way shittier things than me. So I have no reason to bitch and whine and moan and complain regardless of what is happening in the world. I have no control over it, nor do I want control over it. Nor do I want to be embridled in all this horseshit. The problem is what I've been realizing circumstantially is I've just given my attention and my time and my wherewithal to observing everything because I just have this fucking God-given blessing or God-given curse to just see through a lot of this shit like a lot of people are seeing. I know I'm not the only one out there. They're seeing this world is a fucked up place, but this world has always been a fucked up place. If I've learned anything from going deep into the dungeon delving of learning Earth's convoluted fucking lore, it's that this world has always been a fucked up place when it comes to humanity. That doesn't mean that we have to be fucked up. And if there's one other thing that I've learned through that convoluted story that is humanity's history, humanity's story, is that there's some really fucking great and fantastic and beautiful human beings that have existed on this planet that have made literal dreams and visions of heaven on earth a possibility. When everybody feels and talks about quitting and giving up, it hurts me so fucking much because I know exactly what it is like to live half of a fucking lifetime feeling that way every single day and choosing to just endure. I know how long a fucking process it is to convince yourself that there's reasons and resolves and rationals as to why to go on in a situation that feels like it never gets better. Now, the truth of the matter is what I've come to realize and what I've come to believe in, I'm gonna be honest. It's never really been in my hands to decide and determine whether or not life should continue going for me. There has always just been something nagging and goading me in a direction to keep going. And it's this overwhelming sense of just don't quit because you've come so far. It just speaks through and from my heart and tells me, like, you have been so fucking strong, stronger than you realize. And you have such a fucking heart. And you don't think much of yourself because of all the things people have put in your head. And the reality is, you don't have to fucking believe in the things people say and people tell you. You've always fucking gone on. I believe that about people in general. I know what this is like because I've lived with it my entire life. I know how hard this fucking life is. And I am damn well glad that I had, the little opportunities and advantages that I did. Because I know some people go lifetimes without those. I'm so fucking grateful for the things that I've been able to do with my short amount of time on this planet. And I'm hoping that I have more life to live and more to give before I fucking kick the bucket. Regardless of what this world puts me the fuck through, I am tired of giving two shits about all the negativity in this fucking world. I know a lot of people are tired of hearing the same disparaging cry for something to change but nothing ever being done, and all I can say is the lesson this world teaches you is nothing is ever going to change until you begin to change yourself. When you begin to act upon the things that you fucking believe in, you have to believe in something, so believe that you are strong, stronger than what you take yourself to be. Believe that you can grow wise and learn and move forward in this life with resilience and passion for the things that you believe in, regardless of what people say. It doesn't have to fucking matter It doesn't have to be practical. It doesn't have to be pragmatic. Some of us are going to live to 100, others won't live to fucking tomorrow. So why care at a time period where people are giving up and quitting when they have things presented to them, avenues and opportunities presented to them all around them constantly and continuously that they're not looking at, that they're not looking for? Things that are unconventional, things that provide opportunity to just live and put something into this world that makes life worth living. I'm not telling you to be practical. I'm not telling you to be pragmatic in this instant, in this circumstance. Right now, what people need is something that they do with their life that puts passion and compassion back in their fucking hearts and pulls them out of the ego trip of getting sucked into their brain. This world is so fucking stupid. I'm gonna be 100% honest. Everything that this world aspires for and towards when it comes to what humanity is pressing in the direction of, it is ass fucking backwards. It is so antithetical to life to exist the way that we do, and everybody fucking knows it. But we continue to perpetuate and live in the same way that we do because we have given up hope. We have given up passion and sacrificed that for complacency and things that we know are not going to get any better because we've given the reins of power to other people that tell us what our lives ought to be and need to be. And they give you the same answer and the same gold fucking chains and the same promises they don't keep. The same way it has been continuously and constantly on this planet. And everybody always spends their life looking up and aspiring to those people that break away and break the mold and seize the fucking day. And ask, how is it they are so successful? Well, their success and the money that they made out of their life wasn't determined by necessarily just getting lucky. They just did things that fucking inspired other people to look at life from a different lens and perspective. And when the attention was focused and centered on them, this same prismatic panopticon of a fucking system rode their coattails and capitalized on it by basically offering a contract and a negotiation and a bunch of deals that came with a lot of amenities and money, saying, hey, if you work for us, we can make your life really fucking good. But you gotta stay within our cattle pen. We'll let you preach and we'll let you teach what you know, but we want to own you. That's the reality of anybody who has ever been successful in this world. It has always been people who believed in themselves and believed in higher things, bridging the gaps in this reality and bringing a fucking heaven to earth. A little bit and a little piece, a little portion of that tapestry and mosaic that makes life unique and special. Acting upon doing things that seemed on the surface absurd to other people. But they did not quit and they did not give up on themselves. They just kept fucking striving and going for the things that they believed in. And they never compromised on that. No matter how hard life knocked them the fuck down. And the reality is, they still went through the same struggles and the same human follies and pitfalls that we all do. One of my favorite people in the world that ever existed was Robin Williams. He ended up committing suicide because he had, I believe, Parkinson's diagnosis. And he said, I can't bear to live in a world where I don't have control over my fucking body, and I still feel so much remorse over that because I, that was an individual who was just a light to many fucking people, and he brightened my day too as a kid. You know, he was one of my favorite actors, if not my favorite actor. But more than that, he was just an overall fucking beautiful human being, and he had so many human struggles. You know, drug addictions, alcohol, shit like that, things that he was dealing with. We're human, we're not perfect. We're not meant to be perfect. We're not striving for fucking perfection. We're striving to make the world just a little more bearable for one another to live in and to show it's possible. It's not about chasing money. Fuck money. Where's all the money going right now in the world? You can say, oh, it's necessary to survive. It's necessary to keep all this going. It's necessary to keep this pumping. There was a time where none of this shit mattered, nor to the degree that we have it as good as we do in this world right now, that any of this fucking existed and people got along just fucking fine. Probably wasn't as fucking easy as we have it right now. There's a lot to be grateful for that we're not. And we treat life like it's so fucking hard. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, life is hard. Life has always been fucking hard. It's not going to get any easier as you grow. And the reality of this world is, what I can tell you, the only way out is through it. That's the truth. You come into this world and there's no fucking way out but through. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do with that time that you have? What are you going to do that makes it a better circumstance and just believing it is hopeless, pointless, meaningless? If you want to believe that, that's what the world is going to be to you. And I can tell you, that hole is bottomless. You will not find a fucking bottom. You will just drop into a point of depravity and isolation so deep that after a given period of time, when your thoughts exhaust themselves into nothing more circumstantially than literally telling you, I cannot bear it anymore, I don't want to exist, I don't want to exist, you'll have two options. You'll give in and succumb to that little nagging voice in you that's nothing more than a despotic little pinprick that makes this nightmare of reality more severe than what it actually is on the surface. That little voice that masquerades under the impression, this trickster that lives in all of us. It's far too big for its fucking britches. And the ironic thing is, it'll tell you that it doesn't want to exist, and the reality is it was never real to begin with. It's a holographic incarnation of all the thoughts of doubt and the discord and the fear that has been sown into you by this world. It wasn't real to begin with. The second option is you realize that, and all of a sudden, you'll come to this point of this placid state of emptiness. And it'll feel alarming for a second. A lot of you are probably already there. You feel hollow. Have you ever realized that hollow feeling, that empty feeling? Look up at your night sky. It's a big blank canvas painted with a sea of stars. And it's miraculous that we can look up at that and just see those little pinpricks of light flashing by wherever they are. A lot of those don't exist, by the way. That light has been traveling through space for eons, and it's just the residual aftermath of what used to exist that we're catching up on. But what a fucking miraculous thing it is that we can see that. If you're not one for allegories and parables, well, you know what? Don't be a dick. Have a heart. There's so much more to this world, and so much around you at a given time and place that anybody can come to the conclusion that it's all meaningless, pointless, hopeless is so fucking beyond me. I'm so tired of hearing that. I've lived a lifetime of hearing that from myself, and I got so fucking tired of hearing that. It's only meaningless, pointless, and hopeless when you quit on yourself. The reason people quit on themselves is because they think they need other people to believe in them. If this world has taught me anything, it said nobody gives a fuck, and that should give you 100% clarity. You can be whoever and whatever the fuck you want. If nobody gives a fuck, why should you care what people think or have to say? It's not some superiority or inferiority thing. It's when do you realize that you're the only person that's got your back? You and God, or a higher power, or whatever you want to call it. This ain't a game of trying to impress anybody or get on top. It's a game of you and God meeting in the middle and making something beautiful with this life. That's all it has been, and that is all it ever will be. That's what this world is. You got a lifetime to experience and do amazing, fantastic, incredible things, regardless of what you have around you or what you think you need. You don't need fucking anything. What can you do with nothing? If it was just you, a body and a grand stage, an entire world, and just you. You and God. Whoever and whatever the fuck that might be to you. What would you do with that?